going through a 4-week series on taking a stand in the modern day Babylon, right? Right off, Kat, are you liking this series? I mean, how do you like it?
I love this series so far. And, you know, every time we have a new series, I always say, that's my favorite.
That's true. That is true.
So Faithful God series, that's my favorite. And then we have Taking a Stand. That's my favorite now.
Yeah.
No, but I love this series because it's not just about knowing the word, but the practical application.
Yes.
Basically, we're really living in a modern day Babylon.
Yes,
US is a Babylon.
Yes.
Like all the ungodliness. Like this is very practical in a sense, this series.
Good.
Yeah.
I had said it last Sunday, now I repeat it again. I don't know if love is the word that I want to describe with this Taking a Stand series, because it's really heart-wrenching. I mean, if you really think about it, it really strikes deep into your heart. And I love the fact that we are segueing this series from Campus Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I'm still having the faith high from that Campus Sunday because we talked about identity, tying into purpose and calling. And this is weeks ago, I still remember. And then you had done the moderation for Unashamed, being unashamed of the gospel. And then now this is such a good segue where this, because we're talking about Daniel and the three friends, right? Yeah. These are three plus one, 4 young teenagers who are thrusted into this modern day Babylon. And so they took a stand. So it's so relevant, not just to the Campus Sunday, the young generation, but it's really relevant to all of us. Because like you said, we are truly living in modern day Babylon. And these are practical steps we're going to learn, in steps of faith, like how to still make a stand, how to still make our God known.
Yeah.
Right? So love this series. Yes, I guess I did say now, love this series. So, okay, so tonight, we are continuing with Daniel 3, and we will unpack the text and see lessons that we can learn about the scripture. Okay, so just a quick background from those people that are not too familiar with the story. So Daniel and his friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, were taken from their hometown in Judah to be exiled into Babylon. Now, these are the very best of the youths. They are without blemish. They are of royalty. They are of nobility with good appearance, skillful and competent. So here they are taken into Babylon and was exposed and were being assimilated into this pagan idolatry culture like country, right? And then they were being repeatedly threatened that if they don't bow down to worship the idols, they would be put to death.
Right. Yeah.
Again and again. So here we are on chapter 3. And once again, what else is new? Right? What else is new? The threat of bowing down to the idols has once again come upon them. This time around, though, it is the threat of being thrown into the fiery furnace. But we learn, as always, at the end of these chapters we read, once again, they lived. They didn't burn. They didn't die. So, Kat, what do you think got them out of this burning fiery furnace, right? So they were threatened, but they lived. What do you think got them out of that?
You know, I was looking at the verse as well, the whole chapter 3, and I was like, maybe Daniel was there, but I was looking at chapter 3. Daniel was not even mentioned. Yeah, because I was thinking that maybe, you know, Daniel will come through and like, stop the fire. My friends are there.
He has a position.
And he has an advantage because, you know, from chapter 2, he interpreted the dream already. So I was like, maybe they have a vantage point, but no, Daniel was not even mentioned.
Right.
So it was not Daniel.
How about King Nebuchadnezzar? Do you think he had something to do with them being delivered out of that lion's den? I mean, with this fire furnace? Yeah.
Definitely not. Because
we know.
Yeah, because we know he's the very king who put Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego into the fiery furnace.
Yes.
And he's wishy-washy, so I don't think it's him who changed his mind. And I'm looking at this 3 guys. It's not even their own strength.
Yes.
Yeah. Because this is hot. 7 times hotter. You know, King Nebuchadnezzar changed make it 7 times hotter. Like even that, it says even here that the soldiers were killed who took them to the fiery furnace were even killed. So absolutely not their own strength. You know.
So it's not their connections, because we said it's not the friend. It's not Daniel, right? Because it's MIA. It's not Nebuchadnezzar, because he's the one who threw them there. It's not their own strength. So what do you think it is, right? I think it's their faith. It's their faith. So that is what we're going to tackle today. What kind of facets of faith did they have that had brought them out from the fiery furnace? So that's what we're going to talk about, you guys. So what is faith? Because probably some of you guys, we can't assume, right? Probably, what is faith, right? So in the Bible, Hebrews 11:1 NIV says, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So that is faith. And so today I will propose to you 3 facets of faith that will get you to the fiery furnace of life. Now, when we talk about fiery furnace of life, we're talking about life's challenges, life's trials, life's difficulties. Do you have any of those at all?
No, my life is perfect. No challenges at all. It's smooth sailing. And of course, that's sarcastic. No. Of course, all of us.
I am BFFs with difficulties or lives. Sometimes it's one of those things where like I try to push them away, but they keep on coming. So we will talk about the 3 facets of faith. The first one I will propose to you is God-centered faith. Okay, so that's one facet of faith that we'll get through. God-centered faith. The central operative word of faith is confidence or trust or assurance. Having a God-centered faith is foundational. We know that, especially in getting through the fiery furnace of life. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego confidently placed their trust and assurance or their faith on God. How do we know this? So, because the first one is because of the statement, the God we serve. And we see that on Daniel 3:17, if this be so, our God whom we serve. So we talked about this from Sunday at the sermon. Serving not only denotes that they know about God, but they do know God. They personally know who their God is. You get to know God more as you serve. Serving is an action word of getting to know someone and developing that commitment. Long before any trials come, their lives have been focused on God. Their allegiance, their loyalty, their devotion is to God and no one else. Okay? So, do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, because I like where it says here, whom we serve. Serving, it makes me think that serving God is not a task.
Yeah.
It's a wholehearted devotion.
Yes.
You know, sometimes we say, like, I serve God during Sunday.
Yeah, yeah.
But for them, it's a devotion. They've been serving God ever since.
Yeah.
Right? Their commitment is to God ever since. Not just one time thing.
And that just reminded me when you talked about serving. Like, serving too in church. I serve, right? Actually, as you serve, you get to know God more in that. So, you guys want to get to know God more? Serve, right? There you go. There's my plug. Serving Kids Church. So we know that they have God-centered faith because of the God they serve, right? That's on the statement. But also because of the professions on knowing the character of God.
Yeah.
That's on the same verse. It says that our God is able and our God will. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego even faced with the death penalty for not heeding the decree to bow down to the idol made by the king, adamantly refused to do so, and in front of the king professed who God is in their lives. Our God is able, and our God will, professes their faith in their living God and not on the lifeless, graven image erected by the king. They are hinging their expectant deliverance on God's character. They expressed absolute confidence, trust that their God can and their God will. Okay? Any comments, guys?
Yeah, you can put your comment here. That also makes
There's a 20-second delay, so, but hurry on. Get engaged here. Okay.
Yes. It makes me, I put here on my question, do we know the God we worship? Do we know the God we serve? Do we truly know Him, not just here, but knowing His character, knowing He is able, He is willing, and He can.
Yep. So the next facet of faith that can get through the fiery furnace of life, we talked about God-centered faith. This time, unwavering faith. Unwavering faith. Now, it says on Daniel 3:16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. And of course, when I look at words, I like to see it from the perspective of a Bible dictionary. So I did. Unwavering means continuing in a strong and steady way. Unwavering means steadfast. Unwavering means constant. Unwavering means unmovable. So from the moment Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were exiled, their faith actually has been constant and doesn't want to be defiled by the king's food or wine. And now when confronted again with the pressure of bowing down to Nebuchadnezzar's golden image, their faith still remained unwavering. For the three friends to say right off, there's no need for us to answer you, king, about this matter, or no need to defend ourselves, according to the NIV version, that exhibits steadfast, constant, unmovable, unswerving, unwavering faith. They not only exhibited that kind of faith through their lifestyle, right, from during their Judah days and then this Babylonian days, they can also not live that out, but boldly, unashamedly, confidently declare that right up front. Now, let's track with me here first, okay? Because we're talking about unwavering faith. Track with me with the scene here first. First of all, they're actually teenagers here. Teenagers here. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they're about 16, 17, 18-year-old.
Like our age.
Yes, exactly. Like our age. They're going to shut us down because there's lying already. But that's on her, okay. Like teenagers, right? And some Bible scholars says they're probably as young as 13. But they're young. They're young, right? They got pulled out of their homes in Judah into a country that is all about idolatry and paganism. It's a whole new world for them. Their parents are not even there to check up on their God-honoring decisions, right? And they're among the crowd. They are enticed with the things of the world. They're enticed with the good food. You know, it's probably steak buffet every night. With the good wine. And let me stop you right there with the good wine. And you're thinking 16, 17, 18 years old. This is not an excuse for you guys to start drinking because you're going to say in biblical times, right? But they were enticed with all this good food. And all of a sudden, there's this massive golden statue in front of them that's 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide, right? And that encompasses 30 miles for everyone to see. So you could just imagine how much crowds and how much people there are there. And they actually blend in the crowd. I mean, if they don't bow down, I mean, who is going to tell on them? Who's going to know that they didn't bow down, right? But did they succumb to that? Did they do it? No, they didn't, right? And so now there's a decree, and then some Chaldeans that had come up and told King Nebuchadnezzar, you know, and it's not on your screen, but that's how the story unfolds, goes to King Nebuchadnezzar and say, hey, didn't you issue a decree that if they didn't bow down to the graven image that you had erected, that they will be thrown into the fiery furnace? And of course, when King Nebuchadnezzar hears this, he goes on a fury and summons them, right? So here you are, a Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? You get summoned. I mean, when somebody summons you, when I think about it, like when my boss summons me, or when Pastor Robert summons me, when just your boss summons me, or when there's, you know, evaluations coming up, you try to just appease and please, right?
Yeah.
But these friends, they still didn't bow down. They didn't do that. So they got summoned, and then here's the king saying to them, hey, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is it true that you are refusing to bow down? So I'm going to give you one more chance, right? If you bow down, then all is well. We shake hands, we say kumbaya, you go on your lives, and everyone's happy, right? But if you do not, I will immediately throw you into the fiery furnace. So track with me here. They have said no to the king's food. They have said no to bowing to the idols. They didn't waver, didn't get scared when being summoned. And now, one last chance, the king is asking them, I'm going to give you one last chance. You are not going to bow down. And they still said no. And not only that, of course, then you move on to the verses, right? The king's face changed. I mean, I don't know how much fury you can get, but so much so that he ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter. So much so that the guards that bound them got singed right in the very eyes, right? So again, track with me here. They had said no to the food, said no to bowing. They didn't care about being summoned. And then now they see in front of them, like, oh my gosh, the guards just burned in front of us, right? I think maybe the natural response is, you know what? I don't know. I wanna change my mind. I want to give in. I don't want to die because, and it's a slow, painful death, you guys. Burning, slow, painful death. And yet, they did not get scared. They didn't back out, right? So, I don't know about you guys, if those things are not exhibits of unwavering faith, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Wow. I'm actually amazed.
Right? And again, these are 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Like,
Yeah.
when I was that age, is my mom around? I never thought about things like that, life and death situations. I think all I cared about was what clothes I was gonna wear and what food and what major I'm gonna get into. But these are life and death situations.
Yeah.
And they remain steadfast and unwavering.
Yeah. I'm listening to your story, listening to our text here, it makes me also think maybe King Nebuchadnezzar is thinking that just one more thing, they're gonna bow down.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because he was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna summon them.
Yeah.
He's really mad.
Yeah.
He was really furious that they didn't bow down. And that makes me think the enemy also trying to think when we're being shaken, maybe the enemy is thinking, just one more thing.
Yes.
I
Maybe
know
one
the
more
right
punch.
Yeah,
one more punch to
punch.
the gut. Or one more little thing. I think she's gonna give in. He's gonna give in.
Right?
Just one more.
Just one more.
have. That's why there's that door, right? We don't let the enemy take a foothold, open the door, because just one more. But yeah, exactly.
Just
Right?
one more. But then these three are thinking that, there's no one more. We are firm with our faith that no matter what happened, I'm gonna be unwavering.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna honor God. I'm still gonna be faithful to my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was reading this like, you guys couldn't stop, huh?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, because I don't want to say taunting of their faith, but really kind of like putting their faith on the test, on fire, right? Literally, right? But not only did they display that lifestyle of unwavering faith, again, when they were summoned to the king, right off they said, we have no reason to talk about this, right? Like, that's how much unwavering faith and resolve, like, why are we even dwelling on this, king? Like, didn't we resolve this issue already?
Right.
Like, how much proof can we get, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how much unwavering faith. It's just amazing, I think. I mean, it really, when I was looking into this, they're young, they have that strong resolve. I mean, I don't have that much. I don't remember having that kind of resolve when I was young. I mean, it's very interesting, right?
Yeah.
So then we talked about, do we have a comment?
Yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
have some comments here.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's look at Gabby's comment. It's very inspiring to hear these young men stand strong in their faith despite the adversities they were facing. And it's not just a simple adversity, but it's a life or death situation on their part.
Yes.
And we take for granted our freedom here to profess our own faith. Again, remembering the Campus Sunday, like being unashamed. Unashamed of the gospel. And sometimes it's not even life or death situation on our end, but sometimes if we're gonna take a look at ourselves, do I waver? Right? It doesn't even cost my life.
Mm-hmm.
But will I waver?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have another comment here from Mel. That's courage. Salute to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
I mean, I wish they're in the V group. They're V group leaders of our, why not, right? Of our church, because that's like imparting big time, living out that lifestyle of faith and professing, right? Like by words, by actions. I mean, it's amazing. And like I said, I can't get over how young they are. And they have that godly convictions and godly resolve, right? So now we talked about the facets of faith of God-centered faith and unwavering faith, right? Now let's contrast that of the faith to the rest of the crowd, right? Because we're talking about the faith of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Let's switch gears a little bit and look at the faith of the rest of the crowd. The crowd actually displayed outcome or consequence-based faith. Where do we find that? Daniel 3:6-7, it says, "And whoever does not fall down and worship shall immediately be cast into the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, as soon as all the peoples heard the sound of the horn, pipe, lyre, trigon, harp, bagpipe, and every kind of music, all the peoples, nations, and languages fell down and worshiped the golden image the king Nebuchadnezzar had set up." Now, again, because sometimes I could be a geek or a nerd, and that's okay because I've got the grace of time in my hands.
Sometimes? Is it just sometimes?
It's true, right? I looked up what therefore meant because that's why it's highlighted there on your screen. Therefore, after this was said that if you don't fall down and worship, you will be cast into the fiery furnace. Therefore, so I looked up what therefore meant from a Bible dictionary, and I found this. In the Bible, therefore is used to introduce logical conclusions drawn from previous statements or events. Again, to introduce logical conclusions. So which means here on this verses, since the crowd felt like they were threatened with their lives, because that's what it said, right? If you do not fall down, you will get burned. Since they felt they were threatened with their lives, since they were faced with the death penalty of a fiery furnace, it is only logical that they bow down. If you think about this, I think it is quite logical from a human perspective, right? I mean, we see all these movies and that, they're being tortured, right? Or they're being threatened. And so they give in because once they're threatened, when your life is going to be taken, it is only logical,
right,
to give in. But the faith of this is not logical. It is because it's God-centered faith. Faith that is not logical, right? Comment on that.
No, I like it when looking at the verse on Daniel 3:6-7, where it says, "Worship shall, does not fall down and worship shall immediately."
Yeah.
Immediately. But I was thinking about that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The king asked them again.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And talking about, the unwavering faith. You have a leeway.
Yes.
You have a leeway. You have to be logical now.
Yes.
And I'm giving you a chance.
Yeah. To think about it, because he said again, right? Like, again, reiterated, like, before you answer, think about this again. Think about how you're going to preserve yourselves, right? Don't you want to do that? That's exactly what the king was saying, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was thinking that King Nebuchadnezzar was very firm with people, or the consequence, the fiery furnace.
Yes.
He was very firm with the fiery furnace, but also the three guys were also firm and unwavering with their faith.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Consequential or outcome or results based faith can also be called actually transactional faith. Right, transactional faith. So let me ask you this, and let me challenge you guys now, and feel free again to chime in because we want to hear from you. Looking at your fiery furnace or your challenges right now, how's your faith? Right, how's your faith? Is it that of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's? Is it the crowd? So which means, is it steadfast? Is it wobbly? Does it change? Depends on how you feel or what others say. Or does it come and go as the tides? Or is it immovable? Or do you have that resolve, like we said with the three friends, that no matter what, that you will still choose God, no matter the situation, no matter who you are with, no matter what's in store for you? Do you have, and here's another more of those questions, and later on, feel free if there's something that you want to comment. Do you have faith in God because of just what he can do for you? Transactional, right? And when he doesn't do what you ask, do you falter in your faith? Right?
Yeah.
That's transactional. For us to be unwavering, our faith muscles actually have to be stretched, have to be moved, have to be tested for us to endure, to persevere. So when life gets hard, you guys, so here's the practical application. Stay steadfast in your faith. Don't give up. Stay with God. Continue to read God's word. Continue to be in prayer. Continue to be with godly friends. Continue to show up in church. Continue to spend time with the Lord. Because unwavering faith, just like when I did the progressive actions, like continue to spend time, continue to do this, because unwavering faith is a continuing journey with the Lord, even when life throws us curveballs. It's not a one-day trial thing where you passed it and you're done. Yes, I have unwavering faith. Oh no. It's a continuous being steadfast in those trials that come your way. It never stops to keep on going with the unwavering faith. It never stops. It is a conscious heart and mind decision to not give up when it gets hot. Unwavering.
Wow.
Do you have any comments? No?
I
wow,
do,
she looked
I
at
do.
me like, I would find it very surprising if you don't have a comment, especially when this unwavering faith. Go ahead.
Yeah, it makes me, while I'm talking, you guys can put your comment as well, and we're going to read it. It makes me think, it's easy for us when we're not going through something. It's easy for us that I'm going to have an unwavering faith, or especially when you're a new Christian or new believer, or not having a lot of problems. I'm going to honor God. I'm going to do this. Like, we are so on fire.
Yeah.
But we're still not yet on the fiery furnace,
We're not even there yet.
Yeah. And here's what I realized with my life and hearing from people too. When you encounter challenges in life, it's not just one. Like, a lot of the challenges bring their friends. Like, for example,
I'm so glad we're not friends. Did you just say you bring your friends to the challenges?
No, the challenges, I mean. Like, for example, you're going through something. Like, for example, you lost your job.
It feels like one after another.
Yeah, so you lost your job.
So that challenge brings the other challenging friends.
Yeah. And then you lost your job, and then here you go. It's rocky in your relationship with your spouse, maybe, and then someone will get sick. You need provision. Like, it's one after the other. But that makes me think that, will I still have unwavering faith?
Especially when you're bombarded with one after another trials.
It just doesn't stop because we're living in a broken world.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm glad we're not friends. But you know what? This unwavering faith, we talked about muscles, right? And so, like when you go to the gym, right? You don't go right off, especially if you haven't gone, right? You don't go right off and lift up that 100-pound, right? I don't know what you call that, barbell, if that sounds funny. But whatever, the iron or the weight, right? You start off like how I started out. You started out with no weights at all, just the stick with no things. 2.5 to 5 pounds. You build endurance. You build perseverance until that time where like your biceps are showing, your triceps are showing, you can lift things up. When you go in the treadmill, right, you start off with 5 minutes of treadmill, and then you build up that endurance and that perseverance. That's unwavering faith. You have to build that up. You have to build that up. And I also put down here when you were saying where, even when you're not going through things, sometimes we go through the motion. And that's how the crowd is. And sometimes we get swayed with the feelings, right? Like you go to ENC conference and you lift your hands up and say, I'm on fire for God. You come home and you bow down, right? Like sometimes unwavering faith, like how the crowd is, get succumbed to pressures, to what's going on around them, and then they just bow down because they base it on feelings, and that's not how unwavering faith works, right? Yes, you have a mindset that you don't want to give up, but also you really need to put it in heart because you know God is there, right? You want to center that faith, right? So it's not just about feelings. Like I always say this, I'm a crier. Oh my gosh, I just said that. Yeah. But I always have this resolve, when I cry, it just doesn't end there. Why am I crying? And then I want to move on from that. What is the Lord teaching me through that emotions? Because I know that will build my unwavering faith. Because I just don't want to be like those crowds where, same, when there's the hype of the service, the worship, and the music is playing, and everybody, but then that's it. You don't practice what that is, right? Unwavering faith, you need to be practicing that. You need to apply that. You need to really know that muscles are being built here. So you need to continue to persevere.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's a comment there.
Let's read this from Diamond Jean. Wow, Lizette and Kat, go, go, go.
Let's go. We're going and we're staying.
And Gabby said, I agree with you, Atika. When you become a Christian, you feel that tension because now your eyes are open to what is pleasing to God versus what's not pleasing to Him. And that's true. When you become a Christian, you're going to encounter more problems because you're opposite. You're not conforming to the pattern of the world now.
Yeah.
Right?
And we know the Lord didn't promise us when we accept Him as followers that life will be easy. No, He never promised that. But He always promises to be with us through that journey.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I mean, and sometimes that's false thinking that once you have Christ, everything's dandy in bed of roses. It's actually not, right? That's why we always go back to this verse, right? If you want to be a follower of Christ, right? Deny yourself, take up your cross and follow me, because there's a cost to saying yes to Christ.
Yeah.
There's a cost, but there's that building muscles. But the reward is great because, again, we are not promised a life without trials, but if you want to persevere and endure through that, I don't want to say you got to embrace your trials, but really you got to look at the trials in a different perspective where, I don't know if you want to say thank you. It does sometimes, but I know you're challenging me and I know I'm being transformed into your Christ likeness. I know you're teaching me things, right?
Right.
So, unwavering faith.
And unwavering faith, piggyback on your what you're saying, that unwavering faith is not just through the mountains.
Yes.
It's the mountains and valleys. Yeah. And you know, our journey as a Christian with the Lord, it's not just one straight road ahead. It's up and down. It's a roller coaster ride. But still, your faith should be unwavering and steadfast.
Yeah. It's mountains and valleys and deserts and streams and wilderness, right? And I think this is one of those practical applications where if you are in the valley, like nothing's happening, that's the time you actually even spend more time with the world. With the word.
Word.
With the word.
With the word.
With the word. W-O-R-D. With the Bible. Right? Because that's what happens to us sometimes. Don't you see that? When life gets tough, Lord, you know, you sing all these praise and worship songs, you lift up your hands, you know. We sing, I trust in God. See, now we're singing,
I can't.
You're the one. Okay, thank you. And then, right? But then when things go well, you stop reading the Bible, right? You stop showing up in church, right? You stop attending your victory group because now there's nothing really transactional. You only want to go to God when there's something that you need, right? There's a comment right there. Ooh, we better
Okay, all right.
Ooh,
From,
how about there? Okay,
yeah, we're done with Gabby.
Thank you, Jen, for commenting.
From Jen, thank you for bringing up the idea of transactional faith, because to be honest, hardship, pain, suffering, fear, bad news, waiting, etc. can sometimes make our faith waver. Because you are right, our faith is often transactional and conditional. and is dependent on whether we think God will hear, save, heal, deliver, provide, etc. It is good to reflect on what kind of faith I have. Is it transactional faith or unwavering faith?
Yes.
That's true.
She sounds like a pastor's wife.
I know, right?
Love you, Jen.
She sounds like
I
she
wish
used
you
to
were-
do prayer night.
I wish you were here with us. If you're 5 minutes away, we'll stand together doing this.
But reading what she was saying, it makes me think about, when I hear, and it breaks my heart too, when I hear people like giving up on God. You see
Yeah.
those friends, because there are three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yes.
None of them waver,
Yes.
right? All of them.
Yes. We're
They
strong.
were strong with their
We're
convictions.
steadfast. Yeah.
But it makes me think and realize that when people tell me that, when I look at my friends or people that I know, that before you were so on fire and we were all on fire, and then, like, when they tell me that because I'm waiting too long,
Yeah.
or maybe because God's not hearing me at all.
Exactly. And I didn't get the answer that I want.
Yeah.
And it felt like God didn't show up. Like, where was he? Right?
Yeah.
Like the answer that you were hoping for, it didn't come. And so now you're asking all these questions and your faith faltered because you were basing it on the outcome.
Yeah.
You were basing on what you can get out of that relationship with God.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
thinking faith is all about results,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so there's
All right.
more.
There's
I
more.
love it.
From Bonnie, it says here, the unwavering faith and unity serve. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
All right. And JC here, I think for me, if I go through challenges in my life, I always remind myself to lift everything up to Him through prayers and remind myself to live one day at a time and always keep
Yes.
reminding myself that God is always in control. By doing that, I always get that peace that coming from Him.
And you hit a very good point, JC, because continuous faith is daily surrendering
Yes.
your life to Christ.
Yeah.
Daily taking up your cross. Daily asking the Lord, I can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
Help me with my faith, right? It's an everyday thing, right? It's not just all the time. It's not just a one-time thing. Okay. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
we can go on and on with this unwavering faith, right? It's very unwavering discussion,
We will not waver.
right? But we're gonna move on. So, because I have timekeepers over there, but we talked about God-centered faith,
Mm-hmm.
and these are the facets of faith that will get us through the fiery furnace of life, right? God-centered faith, unwavering faith. Here's the third one. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
The even if faith. Even if faith. Daniel 3:18. But if not, be it known to you, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up. And of course, my handy dandy love NLT version. It says, but even if he does not. After proclaiming to the king that they will not bow down to the idol because of their expectant faith hinging on God's character, on knowing what their God can do and will be able to do based on their relationship with their God, they then express the ultimate hardcore level of faith. But even if our God does not deliver us, followed by, if it is not clear enough to you, our king, let me be clear again. So not only did they say, even if our God does not, let me just be clear. If it's not clear enough, again, one last time, as if our actions didn't display that, as if we didn't profess that to you already, we will bow down. Let me tell you again, even if it doesn't rescue us, I just want to put it on the record, we will not bow down. Man, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's faith was trusting God even without the evidence of deliverance. Yeah. They have faith even before that, right? So that's why it brings back to Hebrews 11:1. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. They don't see it yet.
Yeah.
They don't see the evidence. They don't see the outcome. They have no idea. But yet, they're placing their trust even if I don't see it, even though I have no idea what's going on in the future, I will still place my trust. And even if faith does not depend on the outcome, but surrenders to the one who holds the outcome.
Can you say that again?
I
love
know
that.
Maybe you should say it. Okay.
So even if faith is not based on the outcome,
But surrenders to the one
who holds the
outcome. And
Wow.
even if faith does not depend on what the results or what could happen, but is surrendered to the one who has the power to know what's going on, to holding the future. That's powerful, right? For Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, their faith and obedience to God is not based on how they wanted God to save them or take them out of the fiery furnace. It's not hinging on the results or the outcome, right? But even if they will not be delivered, even if it will cost their lives, even if they burn that painful death, right? Their resolve is still trusting and believing in God. That's powerful faith. I love Max Lucado here as I'm looking at some things about faith, right? Faith is not the belief that God will do what you want. It is the belief that God will do what is right. Comment, Kat. Whew.
It makes me think, because reading at this verse,
Yes.
we already know what happened.
Yes.
So if we were like, we can just go through it, like, but even if
Yeah,
be not
yeah,
to you,
yeah.
because we already know you guys
Yeah.
are gonna be delivered
Yes.
anyway.
So it feels like, I understand
I
what
already
you mean.
know.
We already know. We studied
Right.
it. We
Yeah.
learned about it.
God is a deliverer,
But put yourself. That's
Yes,
right.
that's my point. Like,
Yes.
when I look at my life,
Yeah.
will I even say, I don't know what the future holds,
Yeah.
but even if, will I say that?
Yeah.
Even if I'm not gonna experience the result that I was expecting,
Yes.
will I still continue to have faith in you?
Yes.
And
Yes.
looking at Max Lucado said here, it's not about what we want, because otherwise you are God. If you are dictating God,
Yes.
you should answer this. God, this is how you should come through.
Yes. You're sometimes you make suggestions to God.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surrendering to you, but
but
just in case.
just in case
my
you don't
draft.
know.
Right?
But it is about believing God will do what is right. It is about knowing that my God knows
Yes.
what is right. It is about surrendering to His sovereign will. I mean, you can make suggestions to God, but will you be okay if God will not take your suggestion because He has a better plan?
Yeah. It's really wholehearted submission and surrender, right? It's this, even if faith, man, I mean, even when I was writing this, it's really shakes you to the core, right? That even if faith, because if we're a people of control, right? Because literally, even if means you're relinquishing control.
Yeah.
Like surrendering whether I die or not, like with the friends, right? But you know best. And sometimes we think we know best. But even if faith is surrendering to God, saying, you know best. You know best. You know better than me. You know better than me. Oh, we have
All
comments.
right, we have comments
Yeah.
here. Okay. Hold on. From Bless, even if faith, total surrender to God's will. Yes. And then Cells know, faith is a gift from God. It is inevitable to all who believe in the Son of God, Jesus Christ. Okay. And then Gabby says here, we have to practice the even if faith in our daily walk with God.
Yes.
And like what Gabby said, sometimes God is not even asking you about life and death situation. Sometimes it's just about you praying to God. But do we have that resolve that even if, God, you will not answer my prayer,
Yeah.
even if I'm gonna wait that long,
Yeah.
even if the fiery furnace is like really hard and taking so much of my years and my time,
Yeah.
will I still obey you? Will I still see you as faithful?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, we're not yet praying, but I'm.
It's powerful stuff. Powerful stuff.
It is. Jen says here, even if faith trusts in God's character and sovereignty, knowing without a doubt that He has a better plan and knows what is best. And Kizel says here, this even if phrase gave me a new perspective in life. No matter what, we will praise you. We surrender to you.
And the key phrase that you put there, Kizon, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what, no matter the outcome, no matter what I think, what I feel, no matter anything, I'll surrender the control. I'll surrender to you.
Whatever it takes.
Yes.
Whatever it takes.
Yes. Oh, look at that. Back to back, husband and wife.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin says here, amen. Not about what God can do for you, but about who God is. Trusting in His sovereignty and character.
Yes.
And then Bonnie says here, we don't need a faith that comes and goes according to our circumstances. We need an even if faith that follows God no matter what.
Yes. See, you guys are catching on that no matter what, right?
Yeah.
But is it easy?
No.
So that's the challenge. It's easy to write on here, right? Especially probably if you're not going through a hard circumstance right now. But let's put that in perspective. What if you're going to a really hot, fiery furnace right now?
Yeah.
Will you have that even if faith? Right? Because it's easy to write it. And I'm not saying, hey, Kevin, Kiesel, I mean, show me your furnace, right?
Yes,
It's not
yes.
about that. I'm just putting in perspective. Even if it's hard. True followers of Jesus. Oh, there's more? Oh, okay.
I'm thinking that, maybe sometimes it's a general. No, I appreciate all the comments, but
We love it.
we love it. But on a practical side, this is what I usually do. Like, I have that, because I'm not perfect. I have the tendency.
You're not?
Yeah. But, you know your tendencies that you could bow down. What if you replace that phrase? Even if it will cost my reputation, God, I'm still gonna follow you. Even if I'm not gonna get healed, I'm still gonna follow you. Even if I will not have that provision that I'm praying for, I will still follow you.
Yes.
Do that confession.
Yes.
Say it to God
Yes.
and ask the Holy Spirit to help you.
Yes. Wow. So let's round it up, this even in faith, right? True followers of Jesus, and if you consider yourself as a true follower of Jesus, counted the cost that exhibit this kind of faith. Again, the even in faith, true followers of Jesus counted the cost to exhibit this kind of faith. Because an even if kind of faith, like we have established it, is wholeheartedly submitting and surrendering to God, giving God all the control, again, letting Him be the driver, whether to stop, to go, if we're going to let Him be the driver, whether to stop, to go, to turn, or to go straight, or to the left or right, it is up to Him. Because it is His discretion, because He knows the best way. He knows what's up ahead, and He knows if there are roadblocks ahead. He knows the bigger picture. We see this, but He sees the big picture, right? So when you ask Him to be the driver, right, how should we respond? We respond by saying, Jesus, take the wheel. No.
But that's true.
Take the wheel, take it from my hands, because I can't do this on my own. But yeah, really, when I was doing this, I did think of that. But that's a good analogy, right? Because, we tend to be the backseat drivers. Backseat drivers, right? Because we think that we're the better driver than Jesus or God. But no, stop it. Right? Stop. Don't brake. Because Jesus knows the way. We just have to trust him. He knows what's best. He knows what lies ahead.
Yeah.
He knows the destination. He knows where he's supposed to take us to this journey. We don't. So let him have the control.
Yeah.
Let him drive in peace. Let him just drive and enjoy the scenery. Enjoy actually the moment with him.
Yeah.
Enjoy the PCH journey around. Let him drive. Right. Comments?
Yeah. Comments here from Cass. Father, help me to be strong in faith until my breakthrough comes. I know you are faithful and I believe you are working in my life. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Yes, like surrendering, that you need help from God.
Yeah. Amen.
For you to have this kind of
Mommy
faith.
Elvie, that's actually
Yes.
Mommy Elvie. I am in agreement with you. I have that same prayer too every day because we can't do this alone. We can't. Yep.
And Cell Snow says, God wants our faith that is unwavering and unshakable. Yes. And then Des here says, haha, I like that, ate. Did Jesus take the wheel? That's her
Inside
song.
joke.
That's her
Her
song
national anthem for very obvious reasons, which we won't broadcast, but text her personally. No.
And Mel says that's a song. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Do you want me to sing it?
So let's move forward.
Okay,
I'm taking the
okay.
wheel, the driving
Okay.
capabilities off her, and let's go back, right? So yeah, that's an even if faith, right? So now let's contrast that, going back to the crowds. The even if faith is from Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Right?
Okay.
Let's go back to the crowds, to the rest of the people except those three. Do you think they showed an even if faith?
Not even. Not even.
They definitely did not. Because the rest of the crowd, they bowed down. They bowed down. They will never get to that even if faith because from the beginning, their faith wasn't centered on God. From the beginning. And so if your faith is not centered on God, your faith will always be wavering. That's the foundation. Your foundation is already off. You want to get to the point of total surrender to God. Make sure God is the center of your faith first, and practice out that endurance muscle, and practice that unwavering faith journey. Right? Some of you guys have never reached that even faith because you don't want to take a stand for your faith. Listen now. You want to blend in. You don't want to stick out. You don't want to give up something or someone for God. You are still bowing down to your idols, whether you erected it yourself or someone erected it for you. Comment?
I'm gonna read
comment
first
there?
a comment.
Oh, I
here
love
from-
Jen.
I agree. Even if completing this statement allows us to count the cost and make a resolve ahead of time, not to bow down or waver. When she mentioned count the cost, it makes me think about Jesus.
Yes.
He demonstrated it before he asked us to do something. Like Jesus was like, even if it's gonna cost his life, he still did it for us.
Yep.
And that makes me check my heart too, like, Lord, even if it's gonna cost my everything, will I still obey and worship you and follow you? Even if it's gonna cost all my plans, all my dreams, everything that I have planned out, will I still follow you?
And you know what you said, those dreams, all that stuff. God can replace God in your heart.
Right.
Hence, they could be idols. And
Yeah.
that's why, and that's what the statement is. If you give that up, right, are you willing, even if faith requires you to literally take all that, because God is competing for all that, right?
Yeah.
But even if faith is really taking all that away and just saying to the Lord, here I am, here I am, and I will worship you no matter what. And it's not about just what you can do for me, it's about just who you are.
Yeah.
That's complete surrender. no matter what happens, I will surrender you because you know best.
Yeah. And surrendering, like I'm gonna surrender to my God because I know He loves me.
Yes.
I'm gonna surrender to my God because I know He is in control. You know, again, going back to His character. Like, that's why we can surrender because we know who our God is.
Yes.
Do you know who your God is?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Oh man, that's.
I do have comments here. Okay.
Oh.
Gabby says, Tita Lizette and Ate Kat, I'm crying. The message is too clear and too strong to be ignored. Same.
It is.
Same
Oh,
with
it
us.
does. Can we just say we kind of practiced earlier? We were crying. Yeah, it's because the Word of God is powerful, and I think only if your heart is open to receive it, and you gotta make sure your heart is right. You gotta know who is sitting in your heart. That's the thing.
Yes.
Right? That's really the thing, because if there's some stuff there that's competing for that word to come in, or God, it will be hard for you to understand.
Yeah.
And I think also it's really practical because all of us are going through trials. All of us are in a furnace, right?
Yes.
Like, yes, it could be a small thing, but all of us, because my goodness, this is what life is.
Yes.
It's just because it's Adam and Eve, no? But it's the fallen nature. This is just life, right? And so what better way to just know how to endure it, like with God's help, know how to ride the tides of life, right? With God, with us, right? And with that strong faith.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Man.
And Kevin says here, even if faith replaces our own desire to God's will and desire for us. Yes. Surrendering to His will.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, you're right, because even if faith, it's in submission where like, my desire is not important anymore, Lord. It's gone. I want to align my desires with you, Lord.
Yes.
That's even if faith. I want to align what your desire is. Your prayer then becomes, Lord, I give me this, or you know what I mean, but get me through it. I want to experience your presence.
Yes.
In this even if faith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That your presence is more than enough through this journey. That's even if faith.
That's even if.
You're longing for the presence more than what the outcome and the results of what you're going through. His presence is what you long for.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh. Are we still okay? It's getting hot, actually. We turned on the AC, but it's getting hot here. All right, so we're gonna land because we just talk about these facets of faith, but I just want to bring this in closing, right? Do you guys know the ultimate purpose of why the friends stood their ground, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Really, why they're exhibiting this God-centered faith, this unwavering faith, and this even if faith? Even against all that, why they're standing the ground. The main purpose is for their God, for our God to be glorified. That's really the main purpose, for our God to be glorified. Daniel 3:28 says, Nebuchadnezzar answered and said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego," right? When you stand up for God, especially in this modern day Babylon culture, when people see the God-centered faith in you, when people see that unwavering faith, despite of all the storms, against all odds, when you are still holding on to God, even though it doesn't make sense, and your friends are even saying it doesn't make sense, right? Even when everybody else is giving up.
Yes.
Everyone else is bowing down. Everyone else is succumbing to the pressures. Everyone else is doing what's common to this modern day culture, right? When people see the wholehearted submission and surrender of your heart to God that you serve, God is glorified. God is highlighted. Hearts and convictions can change. So our faith goes back to who we trust. And the big question of the day and the night, who do you put your faith in? Who do you trust? that's it. Is it a good time to do, or do we have any comments before we
let's
transition to prayer time? Like, man, this is such a, we can go on and on.
Right.
Well, I love this topic because it's very practical, very hard to do, but we need it. I think we all need to hear this message.
Yeah, and also as a Christian and as a believer, when I surrender my life, is God being glorified?
Yes.
Or because it could be you
Yeah.
who can be glorified when you come out with a fiery furnace
Yeah.
and you still didn't learn the lesson.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, when God is being glorified, He is being known.
Yes.
People will see who our God is.
Yeah.
People will get to know who your God is.
Yeah.
That your God is good. That your God is loving. That your God is in control. And that's our purpose. That's our
Yes.
mission.
Yes.
That we get to know who our God is personally, and we get to declare Him to everyone
And
around
make
us.
him known,
And make
yeah.
Him known.
Which begs us that hard question. What do people see of your faith? What would they say of your faith?
Yeah.
Really? Especially if you profess to be a follower of Christ, what kind of faith are you displaying to people around, right? Because they're watching. People are watching. You want to glorify God, make sure your faith is aligned with glorifying God,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that's really what it is, because at the end of the day, we want to make Him known. We want to bring people in to be attracted not to us, but to the God that we serve and the God that we place our trust and faith in.